بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers, sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this program of parables of Al-Quran, in this session we are going to take verses 175, 176 and 178 from Surah Al-A'raf, which is the 7th surah of Al-Quran. In these verses, a parable is given of such a person who was bestowed with the knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person got that great knowledge which could help him to elevate himself to the level of angels. But that person did not take advantage from that knowledge, and he started drooping himself to the earth itself. Because when we speak about the spiritual life, we say that if a person is spiritually elevated, he is going upwards to the heaven. And if he is drooped in the evil, then he is going back to the earth, or he is inclined towards the earth. That is the example which is given in these ayats. Now let us take the text itself. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واتل عليهم نبأ الذي آتيناه آياتنا فانسلخ منها فأتبعه الشيطان فكان من الغاوين ولو شئنا لرفعناه بها ولكنه أخلد إلى الأرض واتبع هواه فمثله كمثل الكلب إن تحمل عليه يلحث أو تتركه يلحث ذلك مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآياتنا فاقصص القصص لعلهم يتفكرون ساء مثلا القوم الذين كذبوا بآياتنا وأنفسهم كانوا يظلمون. Now let us take the meaning. Relate to them the story of the man to whom we sent our signs, but he passed them by, so the Satan followed him up and he went astray. If it had been our will, we should have elevated him with our signs, but he inclined to the earth and followed his own vain desires. His similitude is that of a dog. If you attack him, he lolls out his tongue, or if you leave him alone, he still lolls out his tongue. That is the similitude of those who reject our signs. So relate the story, perchance they may reflect. Evil as an example are people who reject our signs and wrong their own souls. As we said right in the beginning, that this is the example of a person who was given knowledge, but he did not benefit from his knowledge. He left that knowledge, he did not practice it, and he just followed his own whims and desires. The example of that person is that of a dog. What is the example in the dog itself? That especially in a hot weather, you will see the dog, his tongue coming out of his mouth, which is always the case. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, that whether you hit the dog or you don't hit the dog, in both ways, in both situations, his tongue is always out of his mouth. There is no difference whether he is attacked or he is not attacked, whether he is hit or he is not hit. In the very same way is the example of such a person who is given the knowledge. So when he does not practice that knowledge which is given to him, it means that whether he was given the knowledge or not given the knowledge, his situation is not going to change. What is the benefit of this knowledge for that man when he does not put that knowledge into practice? he becomes like a dog. And that is the worst example which a man can think, as our Prophet ﷺ also said about a person who gives a gift to someone, and then he takes back that gift from him. The Prophet ﷺ has said, "Al-a'id fi hibatihi kal-kalbi ya'udu fi qay'ihi." The person who takes back his gift is just like a dog who vomits and then he starts licking that vomit once again. So the example of the dog is a very evil example here. A person who is given the knowledge, then he does not benefit from that knowledge. Now, those our mufassirin who have given many explanations of Al-Quran, they say that these ayat are speaking about a certain person. Yes, sometime you can say, yes, this story was narrated about a specific case. But that is not what is the attitude of Al-Quran. It gives a picture which can fit anywhere. Any person who got the same picture which is given here fits in this parable. Any person who was bestowed with the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he left that knowledge, he did not practice it, he got that picture written in Al-Quran. Now let us take what our Mufassirin have said. They say that this is the case of a scholar, a knowledgeable person in Israelites, in Bani Israel. And they also give a name as well, Bal'am bin Ba'ura. And I am just mentioning it because it has been mentioned by Ibn Kathir and before him by Ibn Jarir, for example. I don't mean that this was the only specific case for which this picture is drawn. No, that is just an example. It is said that this person was very knowledgeable person, and the story is given that his wife said to him, and she got a child from him, and she said to him, because your prayers are always answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was mustajabud da'awat. You know mustajabud da'awat, the person whenever he supplicates to Allah, he asks anything from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is given. That is mustajabud da'awat. So this person, Bal'am, was known to be a mustajabud da'awat person. His wife said to him, all right, make a prayer for me, so that I become the most prettiest woman in our people. He made that dua, and she was turned into the most prettiest woman. Now when she found herself so pretty, she got no inclination left towards this person, towards her husband. And she did not like him. So the person became very angry. He made another dua, turned this woman into a bitch, and his dua was answered, and she was turned into a bitch. And when she was turned into that animal, the family of the woman came and they pressed upon that person that please pray and let her come back to her original situation. So he prayed the third one. Actually, he got only 3 prayers, and he was given that promise that he got 3 prayers to be answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he prayed to Allah, return this woman to her original face and position. So she came back to her original face and original position. In this way, all his 3 supplications were wasted completely. That is what is said about him. There is another version of the story, that when Musa alayhi salam was in Sinai Peninsula, and later after his death, his successor Yusha ibn Nun was ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to invade Palestine, and when he went there with his forces to invade Palestine, that person was there, Bal'am bin Ba'ura. He was among the inhabitants of Palestine, and he was known to be a very pious person, a very knowledgeable person. So the people came to him, and they said to him that whenever you pray, your prayers are answered. So pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to defeat these forces which are going to attack us. Now Balaam said that he wanted to do that prayer, but his tongue did not help him. Whenever he wanted to say, "Oh Allah, defeat these people," the tongue did not help him, and he could not say these words. So he said to them that, "I am trying to pray, but I can't. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stopping me from praying against these people." Then he said, "All right, I give you another device, another way to tackle this problem." He said, "Let your woman go to these people, and for buying and selling, and in this way let them attract them. And once they are attracted, then they are going to commit adultery. And whenever some people commit adultery, then they are lost, then they are destroyed completely." So this is what happened, that the woman, they approached the invading forces of Yusha ibn Nun, attracted them, and then they started committing zina with them. And because of that sin, which was a very great sin in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a plague broke out among them, and because of that plague, they say about 70,000 of them were killed. So this is what is said about this person, Balaam bin Ba'ura, that though he was a knowledgeable person, but in the end, he just left his knowledge, and he gave that satanic advice to his people to let their women approaching the invading people and providing them the means to commit zina or adultery. Anyhow, we have said right from the beginning that this may be a specific case, but the ayah is very, very general, and it fits any people, any person who got that knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he did not utilize that knowledge at all, and he went against the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why in the end it is said, سَاءَ مَثَلًا الْقَوْمُ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا وَأَنفُسَهُمْ كَانُوا يَظْلِمُونَ. That is a very, very bad example of those people who have rejected our signs, our ayat, and they have been doing wrong to themselves. And with this, we come to the end of this program. وصلى الله تعالى على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.